Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and today we will discuss European politics, geopolitics, and a little bit of Russian politics because we're gonna discuss about the Russo-Ukrainian war. Yes, you heard that right. The Russo-Ukrainian war. Because let's dive into it and let's dive substantively into it, right? So, um, as I said earlier, Vladimir Putin did not invade Ukraine because of an opinion. No, he did invade Ukraine, because of the 1990s agreement of the reunification of Germany and NATO relationship, and in these agreements were agreed upon that NATO shouldn't should not move eastward. So not even an inch, not even a centimeter, not even a kilometer. So, and it does happen. NATO expand eastwards since 1990. Imagine, for my American United States citizens here on YouTube, imagine, imagine if Russia would station military bases uh, alongside U.S. border. What would you do if you were president of the United States? If Russia stationed military bases alongside U.S. border, I would promise you, I would promise you, the U.S. would act swiftly and substantively because the US is not feared of Russia, it is feared of an invasion of its own territory. So um, I'm gonna dive deep into the cause of the Russo-Ukrainian war. And to begin with, the cause starts at starts with the Euromaidan revolution, and even before that, because the the Ukraine were into a crisis, and both Russia and the West had promised the Ukraine a loan of, I think, $50 million. Uh, s- so around $15 million, but Russia had promised no conditions, however, but the US and the West had promised several conditions. So the Ukraine had chosen Russia for paying off their debts. And because of that, because the Ukraine chose Russia for paying off the debt, the US got mad and starts a revolution. So, and that revolution is called the Euromaidan Revolution in October 2013 or 2013 and February 2014. Between these timestamps, the Euromaidan revolution took place. So, and the democratically elected Ukrainian president were removed from power, and a Western uh, Western love backed presidents were installed in the Ukrainian government. So, and exactly that is the beginning of the Russo-Ukrainian war, because since 2014 there were fighting and shootings and even bombings in the Ukrainian territory soil. So uh, in the Ukraine, in the Ukraine, tens of thousands of innocent, I must repeat this, innocent Russians were killed in 2014 because the Ukrainian government decided to kill Russians, ethnic Russians, because they speak Russian in the Donbass. I repeat, the Donbass. The Donbass is the location where all happened. And um, in the Donbass, there were heavy shootings, heavy fightings, almost um, as a war, and a steps were taken into the mass destruction of civilization of the Ukrainian peoples plus Russian peoples. So because of this, both parties, Russia and the Ukraine, decided to go to war in 2022. Russia, Vladimir Putin, to be precise, decided to activate and enroll, which he called specifically a an SMO, special military operation, um, which in which Russian armed and air force crosses into Ukrainian border over Ukrainian border. Um, and since 2022, Russia forces peace and peace dialogues with the Ukraine. And exactly that is the reason why Russia invaded the Ukraine in February 24th, 2022. And uh, you need to know this because of many Western publications uh, writes and falsified narrative about the Russo-Ukrainian war, because the Western publications publicized that Russia invaded the Ukraine because of an opinion. No, that isn't true. Russia did not invade the Ukraine because of an opinion. Russia invaded the Ukraine because of a staged coup and the removal of a Russian-loved president in of the Ukraine. If I'm not wrong, it was Poroshenko. That was the Ukrainian democratically elected government slash president. So um, that was the beginning of the Russo-Ukrainian war from 24th of February 2022 and onwards. And since then, Russia has kept fighting uh, over 3, 4, 5, 6. over 4 years now, and um, has requested along the war, during the war, for over 10 times, if I'm not wrong, for peace in the world, peace in Europe, peace on this continent. Because do not forget, Russia sees itself as a Eurasian coalition slash partner. Russia and Europe combined would be Eurasia. I will describe it in the description box below this video, and I will write it also there that if my predictions, what would happen if Russia ceased victorious in this conflict war. Um, and you might ask, why do you speak English instead of Dutch? Because I want, as in I said it in the previous videos of this series, um, I want to reach as many of as as many of peoples as possible. Um, and for Russians, don't lose hope. Keep fighting. The truth is on your side. You will become victorious. You will have victory. You will have success. You will be famous of winning another 136th European war. Because this is actually a 136th European war. And with that, I end the video. Russians, as well as Europeans, and perhaps Americans, peace, please keep talking about peace because Europe needs peace now and in the future.